welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. My name is Kayla, and today I'm going to be sharing with you guys the trends that I'm most excited to try out in 2021. Hey guys, hello, I hope you're all doing well. So, of course, we are several months into 2021 now, but I wanted to share with you guys some of the trends that I've either tried out and have really loved, or am really excited to try out as the year progresses. There are quite a few fun, cool trends happening this year that I think will just be fun to play with. Now, I've said this before and I'll say it again. I think that if you don't want to follow trends, you absolutely don't have to. I just think that they're fun. It's kind of just like a cool, fun, interesting way to play around with fashion, try something new, which is always something that I'm excited and eager to be doing. So if you don't really care about trends, that's cool. If you're still here, thanks for watching anyway. If you do care about trends, this might be a fun experiment for you to do, to just make up a list of different trends that you think are really cool that you're excited to try this year. Now, generally when it comes to trends, I either purchase them from companies that I love and respect and trust, or I purchase them secondhand, and sometimes it's really difficult to find things secondhand, but this year I feel like a lot of the trends are going to be pretty accessible. Some of them are sort of bleeding over from last year, and others of them are things that have happened well in the past. Others of them are literally just colors. So I think that the trends that I've pulled anyway are going to be ones that I think we can find pretty easily, either at the thrift store, from small businesses, or companies that you really love and like shopping at. So that is what we're going to be doing today. But before we jump into the video, don't forget to pause and go down below, hit that subscribe button. It is totally free, and I'll let you know when I upload new videos, which is every single Monday, unless I have a crazy weekend, and then they go up on Wednesday, like they will be for the rest of March and for April, part of April. Probably not all of April, but maybe all of April. I don't know, we'll see. But yeah, I think without further ado, let's just jump right in. Okay, woof, it's very windy outside, so if you guys can hear it, I apologize. Also, we're trying something new. We've got a green screen. We'll see how it goes. If you guys like this sort of format for a more chatty sit-down video, let me know. Anyway, let's jump into the first trend. So I have my list here. The first trend is a little off color. Now, I saw this on so many websites, but particularly I think I saw it on Harper's Bazaar. A little off color is a big trend for this year apparently, and I'm very excited for this. I've always been a big fan of mixing colors that you wouldn't normally mix together, because then eventually they become normal, and then it's just like, oh yeah, duh, of course you mix green and purple together. So like, while those used to be colors that people are like, why would you ever mix green and purple together? Now people do it all the time, and so I feel like, why not? So I'm excited to do that, just mixing a bunch of random colors together that maybe you don't feel like they match, because honestly that's all subjective. It only, it matches if you want it to match, you know? And then also colors that are maybe unusual for seeing in clothing is a big thing. So this falls under the same category, so either mixing colors together that you wouldn't normally, or wearing colors that are unusual for clothing. So I'm excited to try this trend. Like I said, I'm a big fan of wearing just unusual colors and unusual colorways, unusual patterns as well, which is not necessarily a part of this. But big flashy patterns is a trend. I didn't add it to my list because I already sort of do this, so it's not something that I will be trying for the first time. And I guess technically this isn't either, but I definitely wanted to add it because I want to try this more. So yeah, that is the first trend. The second trend is tailored on tailored. Now, I think a lot of people dove into this last year, particularly if you're a fan of the academia aesthetics. Tailored looks just came back in full swing, sort of that very academic, that very businessy, studious looking aesthetic became very popular. And while I definitely, obviously, if you guys have been around, have done some things like that, I've never done a full-on tailored look. I don't actually own a full suit beside one skirt suit that is vintage, and the sleeves of the jacket are a little bit short, so it's not a super well-fitting suit. I really bought it for the skirt. So I would love to get into this. I've always loved that very academic look, the very tailored, finished looking style. I have always loved loafers. I have so many pairs of loafers or mules, and those read very businessy to me. So a good tailored suit is something I would love to add to my collection this year, something I would love to try out. I like to dress up even when I'm just dressing up to work from home, So I would love to just have like a nice full-on like button-up collared shirt with like a vintage suit. I don't think I want a contemporary one. Contemporary suits are absolutely beautiful as well, but I think I would love to get a vintage suit, maybe something from like the 80s with like a big huge shoulder pad, or earlier I would definitely go for like a maybe like 40s or 50s sort of suit, and that might be like a skirt suit. So that would be really cute. So yeah, definitely tailored on tailored is something that I would love to do. A power suit from head to toe. Ugh, I just think that would look so fab, and I would love to get one in like a very muted feminine color as well. So maybe not like a bright red one, which would be cool, but I could feel myself gravitating more towards like a pastel pink or like a really creamy caramelly brown, or a navy blue maybe, or like a soft green. I think that would be really cool. So yeah, I think that's something I would love to do. Ooh, a lavender suit. A lavender suit would be so pretty. Yes. So yeah, tailored on tailored. Moving on to number 3. This is another one that was really, really popular in 2020, and that is the knit sets. Now, I loved the knit sets last year, but never got around to buying one. So apparently this is a trend that is going strong into 2021, and I would love to try this out. I did actually find one when I was thrifting. It was a vintage sweater set, or like knit set. I think it was knit shorts, I believe, with a, or it might have been a knit skirt with a knit sweater top, one of the two, and it was absolutely beautiful. And I didn't buy it, and I to this day regret not buying it. So I would love to be able to find another vintage knit set if at all possible, but I'm not opposed to getting a contemporary one because they look so cute. If I were gonna do a knit set, I think I'd probably do like a knit skirt and knit top, I think, or hear me out, knit shorts maybe, because I feel like if they're knit, they're gonna be pretty like close to the skin, so they're not gonna ride up, and hopefully they'll avoid the chub rub. I don't know, but maybe knit shorts. I don't necessarily think I would be into knit pants, to be honest. I don't think that's really my thing, but I definitely have seen them on other people and it's like cute. Another thing that I would probably be interested in doing is like a knit dress with a cardigan. I think that would be another really cute knit set that I would be really interested in doing, and I know that those are really popular right now, so you can definitely find contemporary versions of those. Moving on to number 4. I saw this one, I think, on Vogue's website. I can't remember. I really should have had my laptop open, but you'll see it on the green screen. I did see it on one of the fashion websites that I looked at, but the Roaring Twenties look. So when we all came into the 2020s, all of us were so excited. We're like, oh my gosh, it's the Roaring Twenties. And then it got a little too real, like a little bit too Roaring Twenties. And then it went to all of the other decades preceding and following it as well. So it was a lot. 2020 was a lot. But in the spirit of the Roaring Twenties, the flapper dress. Apparently flapper dresses are coming back, and I am here for it. I am definitely, as I've said before, more of a fan of like modest dress, but the cool thing about some of the contemporary flapper dresses that are coming back is that they are midi length, because midi length is apparently super popular right now. That was on almost every website that I looked at, so I was really excited to see that because it's going to mean that it's going to be much easier for me to find midi length skirts and dresses. So yeah, flapper dresses. I'm excited for this one. I think that there's a lot of opportunity to play with this. As you all know, I really love vintage fashion. So I think flapper dresses, or a variation of a flapper dress coming back, is going to just be so much fun to play with. That does in fact mean a lot of fringe. So, and I know a lot of people don't like fringe, but I'm also thinking of flapper dresses, or maybe just more like glamorous 1920 dresses that are like sort of that silky satin, very reminiscent of like slip dresses that became very popular. They weren't actual slip dresses, they were dresses made out of like a thicker silk or thicker satin, so that they weren't like sheer as a lot of slip dresses can tend to be, but like longer length satin dresses that have like the matching shawls. I'm all here for that, and I cannot wait to try and thrift this style. I really want to try to thrift as many of these as possible. So hopefully we can find this. And that leads me really swiftly into the 5th trend, which is chunky hair accessories. So, okay, y'all know I was a big fan of Bridgerton, and that is not going away anytime soon. I'm like a huge Bridgerton fan. I absolutely loved the show. The cast is just incredible people. Like, it just, such a good show. Anyway, the fashion in that show is incredible, and I love it. It's obviously not period accurate, but that's okay, because it's sort of historical fantasy is what I would sort of categorize it as. But one thing that I was absolutely enamored with was the headwear. There was always such interesting hair accessories throughout the whole show, whether it was like big feather thing, like hats, or like pheasant sort of feathers sticking out of people's hair, whether it was fascinators, whether it was pearl or beaded headbands, chunky ribbons in the hair. I absolutely loved it. And one thing that is really going full swing is statement headpieces. Now, I think I might be a little biased here because I do, in fact, as you guys might know, have my own jewelry and hair accessories brand. So I do make fashion hair accessories all the time, and a lot of them are very statement and bold. And so I, like I said, might be a little bit biased, but I'm like even more excited to go like full statement this year. I've been working on some new hair clip designs, some new hair accessory designs, and I'm just really excited to see where that goes. And I'm just so excited to play with different types of hair accessories. I've been loving, like I said, like the beaded and pearled headbands and hair clips. I've been loving like the really statement hair clips that are really interesting and intricate looking. I've been really loving sort of the just slightly padded headbands. I don't love the really padded ones on myself. When I've seen other people wear them, I think they have looked absolutely beautiful. But on me, I prefer like the slightly padded headbands. Moving swiftly along from that and sticking with the Bridgerton theme, we're talking about fancy house dresses. Now, a house dress is a specific category of dress, but from what I was gathering from the articles that I was reading, it didn't just mean house dresses. It also meant just like fancy dresses that you're wearing in your house. Now, I could have misinterpreted this, but I'm pretty sure I'm correct, and honestly, I couldn't agree more. I love this idea. For the last 12 months, I've definitely been wearing a ton more just like vintage dresses in my house, and I'm just so excited that this is like a trend because I've already fully embraced this, and honestly, I feel as if I could just evolve to the next level pretty soon here. Like right now, I'm just wearing like a nice, cute dress, could be considered everyday wear, but I think what this trend is telling us to do is to put on your ball gown or to put on an evening wear gown or dress in your house and just live your best life in it. And I just feel like I couldn't agree more. So I think that I'm about to evolve and just start wearing ball gowns every day of my life. To be honest, I think I own 2 evening gowns, so I'll probably start wearing them more regularly just to like wear them in my house, just because why not? They've been sitting in my closet for so long and they deserve a night out, you know? Yeah, I think that's probably something I'm gonna do, and I honestly totally recommend you do this too if it's something that's practical for you to do. Okay, moving on to tip number 7, bubblegum pink. I'm very happy about this. When I lived in New York, my bedroom was bubblegum pink my whole childhood. It's one of my favorite colors. Like, pink is my favorite color, and so like all the variations of pink I pretty much like. I don't think there's a shade of pink I don't like. So I was just really excited to see this trend. I actually just recently thrifted a shirt from on Poshmark. It was originally from Primark, that is in the most beautiful bubblegum pink color ever. And I also have a ton of like blushy pink things, but I'm extraordinarily excited for the bubblegum pink trend. I could not be happier. Moving on to the next trend, the baguette bag. Now, this is really big within the Y2K aesthetic, and I think a lot of people have been wearing baguette bags if they have been playing with the Y2K aesthetic. Now, while that's not necessarily my thing, I don't necessarily love like the Y2K style for myself. I think it looks great on other people. It's just not necessarily for me. The one thing that I definitely know I would take away from that is, in fact, the baguette bag. I think they're really cute. They're small, which I've always been a small purse person. They're easy to carry around. They're not clunky, and they're just cute. They're like a nice shape. They're very simple, just big enough to carry a wallet and a phone, and I just think that is absolutely perfect. So I'm a big fan of the baguette bag. I actually just recently sold 2 different baguette bags that I had, maybe like a year ago. That's not really that recently. Like a year or 2 ago, I sold 2 baguette bags that I had, and now I'm regretting it because that would have been cute. So trend number 9 is chunky boots. Now, once upon a time, I bought a pair of combat boots, and I thought, everyone loves these. Everyone is hyping them up. I'm gonna love them. So I bought a pair, and it was just a big whopping waste of money. they're so uncomfortable, and I just don't, I didn't get the hype. I bought Doc Martens thinking like, oh, these will be so good, and they're just really uncomfortable. And so I almost never wore them, and to this day they just sit in my room unworn. So at some point I need to get rid of them. But yeah, so after that whole experience, I had sort of told myself, I'm just gonna avoid chunky shoes. Doesn't really seem like it's worth the hype. So when like the chunky sneakers came out and the chunky sandals came out, I sort of avoided them, didn't really like get into it. But this time around, I've been seeing one specific type of boot that I'm like, okay, I'm probably gonna avoid all of the other chunky pairs of shoes, but go-go boots. Chunky go-go boots. They just seem so cute. They look so cute. And I don't know if they're going to be comfortable, but I do really want to try to find a pair of white go-go boots. I just think they'd be so cute. I think it might be a little bit difficult because I do have wider calves, and I often find wide calf shoes to be so difficult to find at reasonable prices. So it might be hard to find them, but if I'm able to, I'm so excited to try out this trend. I think that chunky boots is going to be definitely something I love or hate. It's not really going to be an in-between thing, so we'll have to see how it goes. Hopefully this time around I'll love them. Moving on to number 10. This one's a bit obscure, but apparently fancy gloves are coming in. This is also sort of Bridgerton-esque, but you know, I'm not mad about this. I was in fact the kid who wore the fingerless gloves for fashion growing up, so it's not like that obscure to imagine me wearing fancy gloves just for fun. Now, I don't necessarily think this is going to be something I do on a daily basis, but I feel like maybe if one day I wake up and I'm in like a specific type of mood, I might want to try on like a fun pair of like lacy gloves, or like, you know, like the ones that go up your sleeve, like Audrey Hepburn and Breakfast at Tiffany's. I have quite a few pairs of the all the way up the arm gloves. I think I have them in red and black and perhaps purple. I've done quite a few different like Disney bounds and have purchased those gloves for those specific reasons. So I have them. I just almost never wear them. They're in my like costume drawer. So I think that might be something fun to play with more. I don't know. It's such like a random thing, but I feel like it might be fun to play with. So fancy gloves. I think I'll be more interested in like the lacy gloves, and also over the winter time I started playing a lot more with like leather gloves as opposed to just plain like knit gloves, and I really love my leather ones. And finally, a trend that is nothing new. It's been around for a couple of years now, and it has pretty much just stayed out very strong. Puffy sleeves. I don't think I own anything with puffy sleeves. I'm gonna be honest. Maybe something with like a slight puff sleeve or with a shoulder pad. But like those big, obnoxious, like over the top puffy sleeves, I don't think I own anything with them. I love this trend, but for a long time have sort of felt weird about my shoulder shape with the puffy sleeves because my shoulders are sort of slopey, and I just didn't think it really looked that nice. And I think I've just sort of thrown that out the window. I don't really care anymore, and now I just want to try out some puffy sleeved things. And now at this point, it's been a popular trend for so long that it should be pretty easy to find either on like Depop or Poshmark, or maybe even in physical thrift stores. So I don't know, I'm excited to actually play with this trend a little bit more, to actually, you know, enjoy it. And honestly, I think I'm at this place where I'm like, the puffier the better, maybe. Like, I think I would probably wear Lady Gaga size puff sleeves, to be honest. I think I would. Alright guys, so those are all of the trends that I want to try out this year, that I'm really excited to try out in 2021. Let me know what trends you guys are excited to try out, and I think that's all I have for you. So don't forget, it costs absolutely nothing to be kind, so be kind to yourself and others, and I'll see you next week. Bye!